Okay, I think we're set up. I think we're going to be good to go. Let's get this started. Hi guys, welcome to another video. We are going to be talking about Valentine's Day and love, my tarot and oracle deck picks for the love season. I like to kind of go through my decks and see what ones I want to use for love readings, or when a client books a love reading around this time of year. I usually like to go with a little bit of a specific kind of a theme. So I just thought, why not just film and show you guys the decks that I pick. If you are interested to see which decks I am working with throughout the month of February, especially for the love season, please keep watching. Okay, so I have my little pile here. They're kind of mixtures of tarot and oracle. I have some decks for darker themed love readings, and then I also have my deck picks for like everything else. Let's do the everything else first, and then we'll do the dark theme after. So let's just start with a good old Rider-Waite tarot. When it comes to the season of Valentine's Day or love readings, especially February, I'm really drawn to my pink tarot decks. I just think it just kind of, it's the typical color that you look at when you're, talking about Valentine's Day. And so this is one of them. This is my pink Rider-Waite, the pink border. And then this one is my pink, literally the pink Rider-Waite. And both of these decks I purchased off of Etsy. So they are just indie creators who did their own rendition of Rider-Waite, and I believe the ones with the pink borders are no longer available. I don't think she's creating them anymore. I'll just list it in the description box, you guys, because I'm not going to remember the names. I don't know if these are available either. I bought these like 2 years ago, maybe even older than that. But they are pinky decks. I know she has some pink decks in her store. I just don't know if it's like these. So just keep that in mind. Mine are a couple years old. But yeah, these are like my go-tos. These are my go-to Rider-Waites for love. I think that the pink is just kind of your typical Valentine's, your Valentine's look. So these are the ones that I go for. Please excuse all of the itchy throat, you guys. I was digging around for one of my deck bags and all of the dust came up, and of course it irritated my sinuses. But here we are. Okay, so my next picks for Valentine's Day love readings are, I really, really love this one. So the Moon Dust Tarot. This one I picked up maybe a month or two ago, literally very recent. And this is actually something that I want to make a separate video to show you the deck because it's really, really pretty. But I threw it in the pile mainly because of the color scheme and the softness of this deck. So the Moon Dust Tarot has a very lavender, blues, and some pinks in the colors. And it's just a really gorgeous deck. Very whimsical, very fairy tale like, very soft. Yeah, that's kind of how I would go with it. It has the gold edging. The backs are beautiful. You have a moon with some gold foil. And like I said, the color scheme in the cards, they are pinks, blues, whites, and a lot of purple. So if you are not much of a fan of pink for Valentine's Day, but you're looking for a deck that is going to really bring out the colors of Valentine's, if that's even a thing, purples and all that, then this is a really cool one. So I definitely recommend, because it's such a different deck, and I was really pleased when I picked this one up. I bought it blind pretty much. I never heard of it, never seen it before. And I was very pleasantly surprised. So it was one of those purchases where I was just happy that I was spontaneous and I threw it in the basket. Another one that was a spontaneous purchase recently is the Moon Witch Tarot. This one is a very chunky, witchy deck, but it's very soft and gentle and feminine. So if you're looking for a feminine witchy deck. This one might be one you'll like. You have gold edges as well, but these are matte. The card backs are beautiful. You have black card backs with the floral and the gold little moon foil and just really cute accents of foil. I'm not necessarily drawn to decks with humans, with people in them. I have to really like the rest of the deck for me to really be into it. And these people do not have faces. So they are faceless, which is what I prefer if you're going to do the whole cartoony person in the cards, is to go faceless. And then I just absolutely love the pops of gold foil. So I thought this one would be a cool one to throw into the mix because yes, it's kind of darker. You have the black backs and whatnot, but it's just soft and feminine. And when I'm looking for a deck for love readings or for the February season, the Valentine's Day season, I like to go for more feminine type decks, and this one is a really good one. So that is the Moon Witch Tarot. The last tarot deck that I picked, as far as, you know, these go, I do have a couple more to show, but they're in the darker theme, is the Victorian Romantic Tarot. I would be crazy if I didn't add this one in there. So the Victorian Romantic Tarot, this is a Baba Studios deck. This particular one is I believe this is the 3rd edition, the metallic, and it's my favorite edition out of all of the ones that they've created. I really love the backs. They're very blue, very bright and airy. But I love this edition. I feel like the foil or the metallic work on this deck was done really, really nicely compared to, I'll just say it, just compared to the way that they're doing it now. I don't know what happened. So this one is a really good one. This is the 3rd edition. So those are the tarot decks. Let's go ahead and dive into my oracle. First off, I have to always have this deck in my pile. This is the Romance Angels Oracle. This is a Doreen Virtue deck, and it is one of my favorites of hers that she came out with. The Romance Angels, it is very literally, but it is eerily accurate when you read with it. So the Romance Angels is a deck of love and romance and relationships, different types of relationships, different situations, and it's a very accurate deck. It has the pink backs, it has the gold edges, and the images are really beautiful, very feminine, and very literal. I love reading with this deck. I get some really powerful readings from this one. So this is an oldie but a goodie, an all-time favorite. Unfortunately, the Romance Angels is out of print, but if you can find a copy on eBay, they are very worth it in my opinion, especially if you like the angel vibe, then you'll really like this deck. So check it out. I pulled the Sacred Cycles Oracle. I really love this one for personal, like, in-depth readings on the self. To me, this is a self-love kind of a deck. It goes into the cycles of your menstrual period, and the moon and like all of that kind of stuff. And it's very feminine. But I also love it for the idea of if you're single and you are wanting to give yourself that love and self-love reading, or an in-depth, shadow work love reading for yourself. I feel like this is a really good one to go with. So it just depends. I think it's maybe not for everybody. Some people might not enjoy the deck itself, but I really love it. And I love the colors. They are very sacral and root chakra. So you have a lot of pinks, peaches, salmons, oranges, yellows, reds, with the pops of purple and blue every once in a while. And it's just a really gorgeous deck. So definitely one that I would personally go for myself for those love readings, for me, but more of like a self check-in kind of a deck. So I also have to pick some floral decks because when I think of Valentine's Day or love and romance, I always think of flowers. My husband gives me flowers and I love flowers, and I think they're just I don't know. It's just the cheesiness of it, right? So I pulled the Rose Oracle. Rose Oracle is not necessarily a flower deck. I wouldn't necessarily place it in the flower pile. It goes more in line with the sacred cycles. It is a very feminine deck concerning like the body, right? But it's very beautiful. So, and very spiritual. So another one for my single loves out there. If you're looking for a self-care, self-love kind of a deck, something that is feminine, something that taps into the body, something that taps into your sacredness, your cycles and all of that, the Rose Oracle is definitely one of those. Look at these card backs first off. Aren't they absolutely gorgeous? But I thought this one would be a cool one too. I've never used this deck for like typical, like your typical tarot reading kind of a question of like, money or your career. This is to me more of a self check-in, like a body, tapping into your humanness, tapping into healing kind of a deck. So just kind of keep that in mind. Another one of the botanical is the Botanical Inspiration Oracle. So this one is actually a floral deck. It talks about the different flowers. And it has a sweet little message. I love the guidebook. I always use the guidebook side by side this deck when I'm reading. But I think that the idea of having a floral deck for love readings or Valentine's Day themed readings just really speaks to my soul. So, so I picked this one out because of that specific, reason. It's a vintage kind of a feel of the flowers, and I just really appreciate it. So I thought that one would be a cool one to put into the mix. And then of course, because we are on the flower theme, there is the Oracle of Roses, and roses are probably the most popular flower when you think of Valentine's Day. And this deck is beautiful. I love the reddish, pinky, rosy backs, and the edges are this hot pink. It's absolutely beautiful. I love the mixture of the pink with the red. And then you also have like that vintage feel of the roses, and it's just a deck of literally all different types of roses. And it's just really sweet and super intuitive if you read with it that way. Oh my God. Roses are one of my favorite flowers. So at least for me, I can't not smile when I look at these cards. They're absolutely gorgeous. So now the sun is like kind of making its way over here. Sorry, guys. Let's move the camera. Okay, let's try to get through the rest of this video before the sun decides to move over to more this way. Okay, so let's talk about the dark themed decks that I picked for February for Valentine's Day. Wisdom of the House of Night Oracle. I pulled this one because it is very, if you've ever read the books that this deck goes with, it's a very romantic, like dark romance, dark academia kind of a book. So the cards themselves have a very romance feel to them, and it's like a dark romance. So I don't know, I just thought that would go. You have vampires, you have black cats, roses, you have a lot of just different fairy tale fantasy like themes in this deck, but with a dark twist to them. So if you've never read the books, and you probably don't really understand much of the content in the deck, but it's still really good. You could just use the guidebook and you get a lot out of it. My guidebook has a lot of love. I love this deck. It is so good. But yeah, I just thought that would be fun to throw in there. It is a very romantic, dark deck. Dark, You know what I mean. Bohemian Gothic Tarot. I would be crazy if I did not add this into the pile. So here we are. This particular deck is the 3rd edition. I picked Bohemian Gothic because it is very romantic. It is obviously a dark themed deck. But it has themes of like romancy, vampires, like a dark romance. I don't know. I love it. So I just thought if you are more into the dark themed decks or you're looking for something, you know, if that's more your vibe, you're not really into the pink stuff. The Bohemian Gothic is to me a very romantic deck. So to each their own. I don't know. I don't know if everybody would agree with me. To me it is. Just like kind of for the same reason with the Victorian romantic, how it just feels very feminine and very romantic to me. That's just the way it goes. So that is the Bohemian Gothic. I really love the 3rd edition too, mind you. It's probably my most favorite to shuffle because it shuffles really, really good compared to the other ones. But yeah, I love it. I also picked out the Gothic Tarot. So if you are into vampires or just, you know, very sexualized vampires, the Gothic Tarot is actually really, really good. And I think it's one of those decks that doesn't get a lot of love. Like a lot of people don't talk about it. You have like the black backs with the red. So I do love the red and black. I feel like that's very romantic in a dark sense. But yeah, the vampires in this deck are very like sexy. There's some very romantic, lovey-dovey looking images in here. And I don't know, I like the sexy vampire look. Every once in a while I want like the vampire, you know, like a Dracula vampire, but the sexy vampires, sometimes they work, you know? So if you're looking for something like that, the Gothic Tarot may be a good one to go for. And last but not least, another very sexy, romantic vampire deck, and the ultimate vampire deck in my opinion. I have it in this little deck bag. I wish I had the box. I'm actually tempted to buy a brand new deck so I could have the box and the book because somehow I don't have it. Is the Tarot of Vampires. And these are the card backs. You have the rose, you have the thorns, and this is the most beautiful version of a vampire deck that I have seen. I haven't seen anything else that's ever compared to it, unfortunately. The Vampire Tarot it displays the vampires, but it has a very sexy feel to them. But the artwork in this deck is so gorgeous, and the way that they colored the cards, there's just no comparison. I have not found a tarot deck that can even compare to that. So if you know of another vampire deck that is better than this, please leave it in the comments because I would love to know and I would love to check it out. But this deck is my most favorite. It is my most favorite. It is beautiful. So I had to add this one to the pile, and I was just like, this is the ultimate vampire deck. And especially if you're doing love readings and you want that sexy vampire kind of feel, this one is really, really good. So that is those are my picks, you guys. Those are my picks for, you know, my Valentines-y, lovey-dovey tarot and oracle deck picks. I just wanted to kind of throw something together for you guys just to show you what I would go for. What do you go for? What do you tend to go for? Do you guys go for colors, or are you more of a theme? Like I said, like when I think of romance, I like the vampire look. Or do you go for more animal decks? I didn't pull any animals. I actually didn't pull any animals. I don't really go for animals when it comes to love readings. I feel like I go more with the colors or like flowers. Anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you in my next video very, very soon. Bye, guys.